Hi, if you want to watch exclusive content with hot girls that you won't watch on YouTube, namely where Naruto roasts Kushina and Mikoto and many other hot girls without restrictions, then visit my Boosty channel at the link in the description.
Before reading, be sure to read the author's comment in the title of the work. Have you read it? Are you sure? Are you satisfied with everything? Then go ahead. But I warned you, winky face. Uzumaki Naruto was returning home. A month had passed since the end of the Fourth Shinobi World War, but the most restless ninja of the Leaf Village was still too busy to visit Konoha for even a day. Like a yellow lightning, he rushed around different countries and helped restore order. Until recently, the restless blonde was helped by his best friend, Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto smiled, remembering the events of the last battle. Memory, battle with Tobi. Give up, Naruto-kun, Mr. Nobody said mockingly, parrying Naruto's blows. The blonde fought with cold fury, but his opponent was much more experienced. The fight was too fast and Naruto could not accumulate even a little bit of natural chakra to enter Sage mode. He had already exhausted the time limit of Bija mode. Here the blow passes through the now incorporeal opponent again, and this infuriates Naruto. Tobi only giggles. It's hard to fight when no one's watching your back, isn't it, Naruto-kun? Laughter comes from behind the mask. The next moment, the fake Madara doesn't have time to use his technique again and gets a terrible blow to the face. The mask cracks. Did you get punched in the face? Naruto says in a satisfied tone, trying not to show his tiredness. Not bad, but I expected more from you, Nobody says in a calm tone. You're tired, Naruto. And there are no friends nearby to protect you. You arrogantly went against me alone and lost. I haven't lost yet, Naruto chuckled, breathing heavily. His opponent, slightly adjusting his mask, rushes into battle again. Naruto doesn't lag behind, but he still has much less strength left than his enemy. One wrong move and the guy gets hit. Falling to the ground, Naruto finds himself pinned to the ground by black pins in a few seconds, like a butterfly that has replenished someone's collection. Brings back memories, doesn't it, Naruto-kun? Tobi's voice sounds serene again. Naruto only glared at him. Now, don't look at me like that. If you could kill with a look, I'd be dead 10 times over. But let's not waste time talking. It's time to finally extract the nine tails from you. Kurama. Naruto called mentally. Can you help me? Sorry, Naruto, but these pins aren't like pains, the fox replied guiltily. They completely block my chakra. So it's the end? It looks like it. Even the weather is against us. Look, a thunderstorm is brewing. But I never told Hinata that I love her too. However, at this moment a new player appeared on the battlefield. Amaterasu. Tobi only managed to dodge the black flames at the last moment. When he came to his senses, all the pins had already been cut by the Kusanagi blade. Good to see you, team, Naruto smiled, hugging his friend. Heroes always come at the last moment, don't they, Dobe? Sasuke allowed himself a tiny smile as well. Now it's time to finish him off. Distract him for a while, Naruto asked, gathering up his natural chakra. Sasuke rushed forward, swinging his katana, and Tobi was forced to turn his attention to him. Naruto was already entering hermit mode. The clones leaned over his right hand. Sasuke. Give me your most powerful technique, the blonde shouted. Right-hun. Kirin. The brunette shouted and a huge lightning bolt in the shape of a dragon struck from the thunderclouds. Meanwhile, Naruto was about to release his technique. Futon. Rasen Shuriken. Tobi managed to defend himself from the lightning strike. But at the very moment when he broke his incorporeal technique, he was overtaken by a huge wind shuriken, which tore his body into many small pieces. And then there was an explosion, and Naruto lost consciousness. Naruto woke up in a field hospital. Kakashi, who had come to the blonde's call, told him that Sasuke had brought him and a thoroughly battered Yamato to the camp. Soon everyone had visited the war hero's tent, except for the one Naruto wanted to talk to the most. When he got tired of waiting, he spit on all the doctor's prohibitions and went to look for Sasuke himself. Memory, the United Shinobi Army's tent camp. Naruto, you need to stay in bed, Sakura said firmly. You haven't fully recovered from your fight with Tobi yet. I don't care. I need to talk to Sasuke, Naruto replied, frantically tearing off his bandages. Besides, I'm completely healthy. Now stop it right now. Sakura screamed, but the guy just smiled and disappeared like a yellow lightning bolt. The girl sighed in pain. Well, what am I supposed to do with him? Do nothing, Sakura, the fifth limped into the tent. You know Naruto, he can't stand lying around doing nothing. Tsunade-sama. The kunoichi's attention switched to the Hokage who had arrived. You're on bed rest. Meanwhile, Naruto, in sage mode, was scanning the surrounding area. He finally sensed familiar chakra some distance away from the camp. Sasuke was leaving. He had done what he thought was right, and he didn't care about the rest. Of course, deep down he still wanted to take revenge on Konoha, but he knew that Naruto would definitely stand in his way. Just as this thought crossed Sasuke's mind, the most unpredictable ninja actually appeared out of nowhere. Run away? Naruto asked sarcastically. I've done my job, Uchiha replied coldly. What else do you want from me? Let me think, the blonde put on a thoughtful expression. Well, for example, bring you back to Konoha. You're incorrigible, Dobe, Sasuke smirked. Even now you're trying to bring me back. Why? No one's waiting for me in Konoha. I'm waiting for you there. Naruto shouted. And also Sakura-chan, Kakashi-sensei, and Grandma Tsunade. Maybe it's time to stop taking the path of revenge? I've already turned away from that path, the brunette replied. I, like you, gave my word to Itachi. If I still wanted revenge, I would already be standing over the ruins of Konoha. Then why don't you come back? Uzumaki asked again. Are you a complete idiot? Sasuke seethed. I'm a missing nin and S-rank criminal. Do you think they'll just take me back? We won't know until we try, Naruto smiled. Then the mad race began. Naruto and Sasuke rushed from one country to another, helping those affected by the war. Uchiha was not too happy about this turn of events, but gradually got involved. Now he and Naruto behaved the same as before. Helping people, they encouraged each other, joked, laughed. Naruto was glad to see that the signature Uchiha mask of indifference cracked and fell apart, releasing Sasuke's true nature, which had been locked away since that ill-fated night. 3 days before the expected return, Naruto and Sasuke parted ways. Uzumaki needed to look in on Gaara, at Tsunade's personal request, and Uchiha meanwhile continued his journey home. Having completed his task, Naruto hurried back to Konoha at gigantic speed. And now, after a couple more days, the war hero finally returned home. Almost the entire population of the village stood at the gates of Konoha. It was the same after the battle with Pain. When Naruto finally appeared on the horizon, everyone present roared in greeting. Welcome home, Naruto. The boy was picked up and carried straight to the Hokage's residence. Naruto could see all his friends from above. There go the happy Sakura and Sai. There go the equally happy Neji and Hinata. Dai and Lee stand out from the crowd with their identical hairstyles and overalls. Hatake Kakashi sparkles with a single eye. The Ino Shikache trio is moving here, Cheiji is in front, and behind his broad back, Ino is dragging Shikamaru by the hand. Tsunade is not visible, but she is most likely waiting for him at the Hokage's palace. Naruto ran his eyes over the crowd again, and found all his friends and acquaintances. However, the blonde Jinchuriki could not shake the thought that someone was missing. Finally, when he was carried to the Hokage's palace, Naruto realized that Sasuke was missing from this crowd. Literally flying up the stairs, the guy burst into the Hokage's office. I'm glad to see you safe and sound, Naruto, Tsunade smiled at him. You're finally home. Everyone's been waiting for you. And I am incredibly grateful to everyone. Naruto smiled back, but immediately removed the smile. Granny Tsunade, where is Sasuke? Why didn't he come out to greet me with everyone else? Fifth's eyes darted from side to side. He's on a mission, for sure. On a mission? Naruto narrowed his eyes. Granny, why did you send him on a mission? There are a lot of rested ninja in the village right now, and you sent Sasuke, exhausted from the journey, on a mission. He himself asked to be given a mission, Tsunade answered hesitantly. That's strange. We agreed that from now on we'll do all the tasks together, as the old team. Naruto looked intently at the fifth. You're not telling me something, Tsunade-sama. The Hokage swallowed. Naruto hadn't called her grandma like he usually did, which meant he was dead serious. The fifth quickly changed the subject. Sasuke is on a mission and will be back in about 3 days, she said with an unperturbed look. And now about you. Since you are officially still a genin, but you can practically put any Konoha ninja to shame, I am awarding you the title of Jonin. Here, take your new vest. Oh, thank you, Granny, the guy was touched. The vest was immediately put on, and over it was thrown a red hermit's cloak, which Naruto had not worn for a long time. Well, you're just the spitting image of Minato, Tsunade smiled. I heard that a small party is being planned in your honor. I think your friends are already waiting for you. I advise you to go to them quickly. Thank you, Granny. Naruto thanked the woman again and left the office. Tsunade sank into a chair with relief. When the boy left the palace, he was indeed surrounded by friends. A friendly crowd of them all went to one of the best restaurants, where the whole company celebrated the return of the national hero for a long time. Finally, Naruto managed to escape from the greedy clutches of his friends and went out into the fresh air. It was already deep night, and soft moonlight was pouring onto the earth. It's so beautiful, Naruto breathed out, looking at the cloudless sky. This night is simply beautiful. Do you think so too, Hinata? Naruto-kun, how did you know that I was here too? Asked the girl who came out of the shadows. It's simple, Naruto smiled. I'll always know when you're near. Because I love you. Really, Naruto-kun? Hinata smiled. After the end of the military actions, she swore to herself not to faint in the presence of her beloved anymore. And apparently, it helped. True, the guy hugged the girl around the waist. And let's communicate without any suffixes, okay? Okay, Naruto-k. Naruto. The couple looked at the night sky for a while longer. Meanwhile, the noise in the restaurant grew louder. Looks like they're having a good time without us, Naruto smiled. Maybe we should go for a walk? With pleasure, Hinata answered, and they both went to the nearby park. Walking along the path between the trees, the couple noticed Yamato sitting on one of the benches. Oh, Captain Yamato, hello, Naruto waved. Hello, Naruto, Hinata, the ANBU member smiled at them. It's a beautiful night, isn't it? That's right, Captain, the guy confirmed. Do you mind if we sit down here? Why should I object? Yamato grinned, moving over. Naruto and Hinata sat down next to each other and for a while everyone was silent, admiring the moon. Oh, I'm lucky, Yamato suddenly said. If it weren't for your friend Sasuke, I would never have seen such beauty again. He literally snatched me from Kabuto's clutches. Since we're talking about Sasuke, Hinata spoke up. The last time I saw him was this morning at the Hokage's. I wonder where he disappeared to. Grandma said he was on a mission, Naruto frowned. But she seemed a little suspicious. I'll have to question her properly tomorrow. Naruto, I completely forgot, Yamato suddenly slapped himself on the forehead. I was only released from the hospital today. And Sasuke came to see me just before I was discharged and gave you some note. He asked me not to open it. Now. It's somewhere here. Here. Yamato handed the blonde a piece of paper. Rolled into a tube. Naruto immediately unrolled it. Sasuke's eternal Manjikyu Sharingan was looking at him from the paper. In that same second, the world around him dissolved. Naruto, the Uchiha's voice rang out. I will only say this message once, so listen carefully. As I expected, neither the elders nor the daimyo are happy to see me here. I was banished from the village again. Tsunade resisted, but she could do nothing. If you wish to say goodbye, I will wait at the Valley of the End for exactly 2 days. The genjutsu disappeared. Naruto was sitting on the park bench again, being frightened by Hinata and Yamato. Naruto, what's wrong with you? Asked the ANBU member. Sasuke was expelled from the village, the guy said. What? Hinata asked, shocked. Naruto sighed and told them what he had seen. He said he was waiting for me at the Valley of the End. Naruto jumped up from his seat. I'll head there immediately. Should I tell the Hokage anything? Yamato asked, knowing full well that he wouldn't be able to stop the guy. Nothing. I'll be back soon, Naruto replied and, without even making any seals, disappeared in a puff of smoke. The next moment, he was standing in front of the Valley of the End waterfall. His friend was meditating on the head of the Hashirama Senju statue. Sasuke, Naruto called. Ah, Yuzuritanki, it's you, Uchiha grinned without opening his eyes. As you can see, I was right. What happened? The blonde asked, jumping onto the statue and sitting down next to it. When I got to the village, I went to the Hokage, Sasuke answered, finally looking at Naruto. They were already waiting for me there. In addition to Tsunade, the village elders were in the office, along with the daimyo's ambassador. Flashback. May I come in? Uchiha poked his head through the half-open door. In addition to the Hokage, there were 2 ANBU and village elders, along with a richly dressed man. Judging by the symbols of the Land of Fire, he was an ambassador from the daimyo. Come in, Sasuke. Tsunade's voice sounded tired and a little hoarse. It felt like she had just been arguing loudly, or cursing, or maybe both. Naruto submitted a request to me to revoke your missing mean status and reinstate you as a Konoha shinobi back in the tent hospital. I want to ask, do you really want to come back? If you put it that way, Sasuke thought. Yes, I do. My friend wants it, and I gave him my word. But, as we have already discussed, Tsunade Haim, the ambassador noted. You are not the only one to decide this issue. Uchiha Sasuke, you are currently considered an S-rank criminal, and the heads of several countries want you dead. The hidden villages do not support this decision. The fifth intervened. The daimyo can decide whatever they want, but without the shinobi, these decisions will never be realized. Don't interrupt me, please, the ambassador winced. So that's what I was talking about. Oh, yes. Even if the status of a missing mean is revoked, Uchiha Sasuke no longer has the right to be a shinobi of the leaf. And since his skills will not go anywhere, there is nothing for him to do in Konoha itself. The elders exchanged satisfied glances. Tsunade choked with indignation. Sasuke already understood that he had no chance. Thus, the question of canceling your status as a missing mean will be brought up at a general meeting. If the elders and heads of the Konoha clans deem it necessary, you will be cleared of the charges of desertion and attacking Konoha shinobi. Until then, you will have to remain under surveillance, the daimyo's ambassador finished. Do you understand everything? Yes, the brunette nodded indifferently. Questions? Can I move freely around Konoha until the council's decision is made? Only with an ANBU escort, the ambassador replied. Great, Sasuke said coldly. Cat, bear, Tsunade addressed the ANBU fighters standing at the door. Your task will be to accompany Uchiha Sasuke until a decision is made regarding him. Yes, Hokage-sama, both shinobi bowed. End of flashback. After the council, I was called to Tsunade again. As I expected. I was banished from the village, at least the status of missing mean was removed. Then I looked into the hospital to see that ANBU guy I took from Kabuto's lair. His name was Yamato, I think. He was still your captain when you came for me to Orochimaru's hideout. Anyway, I gave him a note in which I put a genjutsu with a seal, and then I left here. That's basically the whole story, Sasuke finished. So what are you going to do now? Naruto asked. I don't know yet, the brunette shrugged. I'll probably go to a couple of my old hideouts first, I left a few things there. And then I'll wander the world. Maybe, if I'm lucky, I'll meet my guys. You know, Sasuke, Naruto said firmly. I've been trying to get you back for so long, and I'm not going to give up on this. I'm coming with you. I'm going with you, Naruto stated. What? Sasuke couldn't believe his ears. What I heard. I've been running after you for too long. And I don't want my efforts to go to waste, the blonde Jinchuriki grinned. Actually, I'm also tired of sitting in the village all the time. I want to see the world. You think you never left the village during the war, Uchiha snorted. And after it, it's like you stayed in one place. Well, I didn't work for myself, but for the common good, Naruto noted. In general, as always. Everything for others, but nothing for myself. What are you talking about? Sasuke was surprised. A lot of things, the blonde answered evasively, getting to his feet. I'll dash to the village now and pick up my things. And then you and I will go wherever our eyes lead us. Well, as you wish, the brunette chuckled again. Aren't you afraid that you'll be declared a missing mean? I'm not afraid, Naruto smiled and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Sasuke looked at the place where the blonde had just stood and shook his head. You have become too strong, my friend, thought the last representative of the Uchiha clan. But it's okay. I won't leave you alone. Meanwhile, Naruto appeared in the same place where he disappeared. Hinata and Yamato were still there. Well, what? They asked in unison. I talked to Sasuke, the blonde replied, catching his breath. After all, the movement technique took a lot of strength and chakra. He really was kicked out of the village. I decided that I would go with him too. Are you crazy, Naruto? Yamato jumped up from his seat. It's not enough that Sasuke is here, you're planning to run away from the village too. And Naruto-kun is right about something, Hinata suddenly noticed. Konoha is not what it used to be. Ever since that strange ambassador showed up here, everything in the village has been going wrong. What do you mean? Yamato and Naruto were surprised. I'll explain now, the girl began. Let's start with the fact that he is an outsider to the village, but nevertheless takes part in the council meetings. I heard how father discussed this problem with the elders of our clan. The ambassador can directly influence the council's decisions, especially considering that the village elders, Homura and Koharu, fully support him. He also interferes in the decisions made by the Hokage. And by the way, he constantly quarrels with Tsunade-sama. That's true, Naruto chimed in. When I was talking to Granny, I noticed that her voice was a little hoarse. But I attributed it to the effects of drinking sake. The village's policies have become more militaristic, and the Hokage's orders are increasingly ignored, Hinata continued. It's similar to the times when Danzo was in power. And in general, this ambassador has a very appropriate name, Akudama Akin. In other words, the decision to escape from the village is entirely justified, the blonde summed up. Yes, the kunoichi nodded. I'll go with Naruto too. What? The ANBU member jumped up from his seat again. Hinata, okay, I admit that your boyfriend has such cockroaches in his head that Aburame could never even dream of. But where are you going? After him, the girl firmly stated. I always tried to catch up with Naruto. Even during the war, I swore to myself that when this nightmare ends, I will always be next to him. And I will not back down from my words. This is my ninja way. And this one too, Yamato lowered his head and plopped down on the bench again. Naruto, you should have taught others something useful, but no. Now most of the Konoha ninja, like you, exhaust themselves in training and shout about the way of the ninja louder than Guy about the power of youth. And you infected Hinata with your nonsense. Well, why are you silent? Yamato raised his head, but there was no one near him. It seemed that the monologue had gone into the void. The ANBU guy cursed loudly. Well. Naruto. There are no words to describe him, thought Yamato, moving towards the Hokage's palace. Despite the late hour, Tsunade should still be in her room. After returning, Naruto immediately found himself in the thick of things, and therefore he did not even have time to unpack his own backpack. The blonde simply threw it under the table in the very restaurant where his friends were feasting. Therefore, it was only necessary to go back there and pick it up, but Naruto left it for later. Now he was helping his beloved girl pack her things. Hinata feverishly rummaged through her room, searching the hiding places, of which there were more than a dozen. In several of them there were some levers and buttons, and in some places there were keys. What are you doing, Hinata? Naruto asked, watching as the girl presses a ledge in the floor and a piece of the wall moves aside, revealing a small lever. Pulling it, the kunoichi immediately goes to the closet, pulling out the bottom drawer, behind which a secret compartment is hidden, opened by a lever. There is nothing in the hiding place except a small button, which Hinata immediately presses and heads to the bathroom. From there, the sound of a combination being dialed is heard and another secret compartment opens in the floor with a safe built into it, which is immediately opened by the girl who returned to the room. Several thick wads of money are taken out of the safe. "That's it," Hinata finally said. Naruto whistled. "And why is such a system needed?" "Because everyone in the clan has a Byakugan," the girl answered, putting the money in her backpack. "And everyone, especially my sister Hanabi, can clearly see where my safe is and how much money is in it. It's just that while she's trying to find what, where, and how to open it, he'll understand that it's easier to steal cash from Niji." Naruto finished her thought. Hinata smiled and nodded. "Okay, we're done here." She patted her tightly packed backpack. "Now where to?" "First, to the restaurant where the celebration was. I left my backpack there," answered Naruto, carefully climbing out of the window. "It was decided to leave the same way they came. Then we'll stop by to say goodbye to Granny and then we'll leave. Sasuke is waiting for us in the Valley of the End." A quick run across the rooftops and Naruto and Hinata are already standing in front of the restaurant where the party was taking place. There is no visible damage, which means that Tolstobrovic either left sober, the blonde chuckled, or didn't leave at all. The girl giggled, and a drunk Kiba literally fell out of the restaurant doors into the smoke. "Oh, Naruto," he said, focusing his gaze with difficulty. Where have you been?" "I was breathing fresh air," the guy answered smiling. "It won't hurt you either, I think." "Too bad." Inuzuka nodded. "Akekamar, are you?" A huge white dog came out of the restaurant. He looked reproachfully at his passed-out owner and barked loudly. Naruto and Hinata laughed. "You didn't keep an eye on him, now drag him home," the girl smiled, stroking the dog's head. Akamaru barked again, as if agreeing, after which he grabbed Kiba's sleeve and dragged his drunken master towards the house. "Yeah, I see they had a good time here without me." Naruto shook his head, looking inside. All the friends were lying around and fast asleep. There was no point in trying to dissuade them. The only sober person approached the guy, who, of course, turned out to be Shino. How they went crazy, because they suffered for a month waiting for you. The holiday would not have been the same without a hero. "I see," the blonde grinned again, picking up his backpack from the floor. "The morning in Konoha will be spent under the auspices of mass hangovers." "Are you going far?" asked the beetle breeder. "Probably to pick up your friend?" "You're as insightful as always, Shino," Naruto replied seriously. "My father told me about the decision that the council had made. I was waiting for you to make a response move. Apparently, I was not mistaken in my guesses. I think I'll leave Konoha for a while. Let the elders suffer from the quirks of their weapons," the Jinchuriki grinned. Then his gaze ran over his friends lying in a heap again. How did they even allow them to drink? It seems like none of them are 18 yet. It's a mystery to me, but the fifth, they say, didn't object, Shino shrugged. It's strange that she herself isn't here. Naruto bent down and picked up an untouched bottle of sake from the floor. "Well, I was going to visit her anyway, so I'll grab a treat." "I wish you good luck," said the representative of the Aburame clan. At this moment in the Hokage's office. "Can't you hear me?" Yamato was almost crying. "Okay, I'll say it again. Naruto and Hinata are going to leave the village, along with Sasuke." "I wouldn't say the decision is unfounded," Tsunade replied with a sigh, looking at the ANBU member with a dull gaze. The mug of coffee was steaming in her hand. "To be honest, I myself want to go and send this job to hell, especially since I'm no longer welcome here. But they will be declared missing mean, and Hayashi will skin Naruto and Hinata alive," Yamato almost shouted. He could not understand why the Hokage was reacting so calmly to the news that the strongest shinobi of Konoha had decided to leave. "It's a matter of who gets off on whom," Yamato, the fifth, grinned. "Knowing our Naruto, I can say with confidence that he'll beat the crap out of not only Hayashi, but the entire Hyuga clan if he wants. Especially for Hinata." "Well, I don't know," the ANBU member shook his head. Tsunade took a big sip from her mug and coughed. "Damn, I think I put too much coffee in it, it's a bit bitter," she muttered discontentedly and looked at Yamato again. "Listen, the elders and that damn ambassador are itching to do something about Naruto. And I think it would be better if he himself stayed away from the village. Are you sure? The ANBU officer asked. Yes, nodded the fifth. I hope that Naruto, before leaving, will look behind. Granny, it's us. The office door swung open just in time to see Tsunade wheeze and collapse onto the desk. Granny? Granny? Naruto? Yamato turned around at the sound of his voice. The aforementioned subject immediately rushed past him and began examining Tsunade. It looks like a fast-acting poison, the blonde said to himself under his breath. Kurama, I know you're sleeping off our journey, but this is a critical situation. What else? A sleepy voice responded in the subconscious. We need to stop or at least slow down the action of the poison. But I don't feel, yawn, any poison in you. It's not me. Naruto barked. Granny Tsunade was poisoned. Stop yelling, the fox grimaced in his subconscious. Pass my chakra through her body, and I'll do what I can. Got it. The guy immediately switched to Biju mode, and the fifth was enveloped in a golden glow from the passing chakra. Hinata. Use the Byakugan to see where our best medics are. Yes, the girl answered, activating the dojutsu. Sakura and Ino are in that restaurant now, but they are clearly not in a condition to work right now. What about Shizune? Naruto asked. At home, sleeping. At least something. Captain, bring her here immediately. The blonde Jinchuriki gave the order, not taking his eyes off Tsunade for a second. Yamato nodded and deftly jumped out the window. Hinata watched with concern through the Byakugan as golden chakra filled the fifth Hokage's body, keeping her alive, while her own chakra center gradually faded. Hina, where are Yamato and Shizune? Naruto asked through clenched teeth. He felt like he was losing, but as usual, he didn't give up until the very end. They are already approaching, the girl reported. At that moment, 3 people entered the office. The ambassador and the elders. So. It looks like there was an assassination attempt on the fifth, the ambassador answered with a grin. Demon. Get away from the Hokage. Get lost, Lanky. The blonde man gritted his teeth. I'm trying to save her life. We know, the elders nodded. But, unfortunately, it's not in our interests. What? Hinata, standing to the side, jumped up. You creatures. 32 strikes of heaven. A series of blows and 2 unconscious bodies fall to the floor. The ambassador simply dissolved into a cloud of smoke, making it clear that it was a shadow clone. A second later, Yamato and a sleepy Shizune finally flew into the office. What happened here? The ANBU member asked in surprise, looking at the unconscious elders, while Tsunade's assistant began to treat her mistress. Hinata told him about the ambassador's words, while Shizune and Naruto tried together to slow down the poison's effect on the body. So this is his doing? Yamato was surprised after hearing the Kunoichi's words. It seems so, Hinata nodded. When I attacked them, the ambassador disappeared immediately. It was a shadow clone. I didn't think that this bastard was also a shinobi. That's it, Shizune said with relief when she finished. The poison needs to be removed, of course, but for now her life is out of danger. Thank you, Naruto. Thank God, the blonde exhaled. You still haven't changed your mind, Naruto? Yamato asked him. No way, Captain, the guy answered, catching his breath. Now all the dogs will be hung on me and Hinata. So the sooner we leave, the better. What? Shizune looked at the hugging couple in surprise. Tell Grandma I said hi when she wakes up, Naruto said before disappearing with Hinata in a puff of smoke. Notes? Akudama Akin can be literally translated as evil villain. Yujiro Tonki, you're taking a long time, Sasuke drawled mockingly. Oh, you're not alone, I see. Naruto? What's wrong with you? There was an assassination attempt on Tsunade, Naruto sighed, sitting down tiredly on the ground. I spent too much energy trying to slow down the poison. Damn, I need to catch my breath a little. Hinata will tell me what happened in the meantime. 10 minutes later, the whole company set off, continuing to speculate. So you're saying everyone's drunk? Sasuke asked, jumping from branch to branch. He was the leader of the group, since he was the only one who knew the way to his hideout. That's suspicious. Of course it's suspicious, Naruto breathed out, bringing up the rear of the group. It looks like they were deliberately given a drink. By the way, the assumption is not without merit, Uchiha noted. It is quite possible that Ino and Sakura were given a drink so that they could not provide timely assistance to Tsunade. It's good that Shizune helped. I couldn't have done it alone. Speaking of Shizune, Hinata intervened, not forgetting to check the area ahead. She only returned to the village today. Before that, she was sent to the fire capital as an ambassador from Konoha. And it was Akin who nominated her candidacy. And Tsunade was going to send Shikaku Nara to the capital. So Akin wanted to get rid of Granny, but he miscalculated badly, Naruto grinned. Now Shizune's sister will cure her, and Akin will end up behind bars, because both Shizune and Yamato will confirm that it was his doing. Will they believe them? Sasuke suddenly wondered. And did they believe you? Judging by your story, they only saw beaten elders. This Akudama Akana is not as simple as he seems. Judging by the fact that he used a shadow clone, he is a shinobi. But I did not sense any chakra in him. At all. That's true, Naruto confirmed, thinking. I was in Bija mode when I was healing Granny, but I didn't even feel the clone's chakra. Hinata. You were looking at him with the Byakugan. Did you notice anything? No, the girl answered, puzzled, remembering. I saw the elder's chakra circulation system. But he. It was as if he had no chakra at all. That means two conclusions can be drawn, Sasuke concluded. Either this Akin is very skilled at blocking his chakra, or he's not human at all. Who then? The question remains unanswered. At least for now. For a while everyone moved in silence. Each person thought about what was said and drew their own conclusions. Meanwhile in Konoha. It seems your plan has failed, Akin-san, the elder stood in the Hokage's office. Tsunade is still alive and that's why. Exactly. Tsunade is still alive, but I considered that option as well, the ambassador answered coldly, brazenly sitting down in the Hokage's chair. We were lucky that the Jinchuriki left the village. Moreover, I want to say that by leaving he helped us a lot. Problems would only arise if he decided to stay. Too many people support him. But now we have a chance to expose him as Tsunade's killer. How so? Koharu asked. Very simple. You, respected elders, will help me with this, Akin leaned his elbows on the table, crossing his fingers. You saw how the Jinchuriki passed the fox's chakra through Tsunade. Everyone knows that this chakra is a real poison. Thus, he was killing the Hokage, and you tried to stop him. But you were stopped by his accomplice from the Hyuga clan. Fortunately, Shizune came later, and saved Tsunade. Do you think people will believe you? Hamura asked doubtfully. What's the point of a Jinchuriki killing the Hokage? They will believe, smiling an unpleasant smile, Akin leaned back in his chair. And his motive is simple. After the death of the fifth, he would take her place. Everyone knows about his dream, and many residents would support him as a hero of the past war. But what about Yamato and Shizune? The elder added another question. They obviously won't believe it. Shizune is easily influenced, the ambassador replied. Besides, she will be heartbroken when Tsunade dies. And she, anticipating your next question, will certainly die. As for Yamato, he can easily be framed as an accomplice of Uzumaki and Uchiha, especially since the latter freed him, as he put it, from the clutches of Kabuto. Any other questions? Who will become Hokage after Tsunade's death? Koharu asked. Akin smiled again. I did. The daimyo promised me this place. That's why I took on this matter so zealously, he grinned. Besides, the Fire Country doesn't need a peace-loving hidden village. We must be prepared for another war. Right now, other countries are licking their wounds. We won't let them recover. Our agents will provoke aggression, and they will simply tear each other apart. The elders exchanged a satisfied glance. Akudama Akana reminded them a lot of Shimura Danzo, and they liked that. After a minute, the ambassador spoke again. Now, here's what you should do. At this time, not far from the border between the fire and grass countries. Halt! Naruto shouted, falling into the grass. Tired, Dobe, Sasuke chuckled, jumping from the tree. I don't. But here she is, Naruto answered, pointing his finger at Hinata. She is. I'm not tired at all, and Naruto-kun, the girl said, breathing heavily. Well, yes, of course, she's not tired, the blonde was indignant. I can see that you're out of breath. I can't stop scolding myself for noticing your condition so late. I'm fine, Hinata managed to say with her last strength, falling into her lover's arms. Naruto shook his head and, without letting go of the girl, nodded to Sasuke's backpack. He understood what his friend wanted and unfolded the sleeping bag, on which Hinata was immediately laid. My love, Naruto began. It is my prerogative to exhaust myself. Of course, I understand that you do not want to lag behind me anymore, but if you constantly bring yourself to such a, so to speak, state of not standing, then your health will be seriously undermined, and you will not be able to continue your path hand in hand with me. By the end of the tirade, the blonde was pretty exhausted, and Sasuke, watching Hinata's expression, quietly chuckled. You know, Dobe, said Uchiha. The mask of a smart guy suits you. What makes you think it's a mask, team? Naruto grinned in response. I've always been like this, it's just that the great and terrible Uchiha Sasuke only now noticed that I took off my idiot mask. Both friends and the girl burst out laughing. After a short rest, the company set off again. A couple of days later, they reached the destroyed bridge. Brings back memories, Naruto smiled, looking at the remains of the once enormous structure. Have you been here before? Sasuke asked. Yeah, the blonde Jinchuriki nodded, putting his hands behind his head. We're going to the other side, right? Well, yes, Sasuke nodded. True, I didn't expect the bridge to be destroyed. And I don't know any other way. The blonde chuckled and, taking his friends by the hands, moved to the other side of the cliff. Not bad, Uchiha grinned. Or maybe you could take us straight to the shelter? I can only move where I can see, Naruto replied with regret in his voice. Or, if I have a detailed idea of where I'm moving to. There are also special seals, but I haven't used them yet. And how do you even know about spatial techniques? The brunette asked as they walked along the road. From my father's scroll, the blonde answered briefly. Giratora is not only the key to my seal, it also contains records of Namake's spatial techniques. Namake's? Sasuke began to remember. The fourth Hokage, Hinata said. He's Naruto's father. What? Uchiha's jaw dropped. And you kept quiet? Yeah, it seems like everyone already knows, Naruto shrugged. He really had forgotten that he hadn't shared the news with his friend. MDAA, Sasuke drawled. Meanwhile, the company came out to a giant pit. Wow, Hinata was surprised. What happened here? A fight between me and Orochimaru, Naruto replied. It seems like it was so long ago. Are you saying that you destroyed the bridge too? Sasuke's jaw dropped again. Well, it happened, the blonde admitted. Maybe we should pick up the pace? Meanwhile, an attempt on the life of the fifth Hokage was announced in Konoha. The facts were presented so cleverly that every dog believed in the guilt of the restless blonde. It was also announced that the daimyo's ambassador, Akudama Akana, had been appointed acting Hokage. The Hyuga clan was furious that the clan's heiress, who had fled with the criminal, was guilty of attacking the elders. Of all the villagers, only Shino, Kiba, Sai, Shikamaru, and Kakashi did not believe in the blonde's guilt, but they wisely kept their mouths shut. Shizune, who was personally caring for Tsunade, who had fallen into a coma, doubted it, but too many things spoke against the blonde ninja. Akin, who had cleverly manipulated the facts, was reaping the fruits of his labor. The accused himself, at this time, was moving with his friends towards Orochimaru's former hideout. Sasuke decided to look there before heading to the place where he had lived for some time with Tobi and White Zetsu. The Snake Sannin stash could contain many useful things that would be useful to the team. Finally, by the end of the fourth day since leaving Konoha, Naruto and his friends reached the destroyed part of the hideout. Oh, what an atmospheric place, isn't it, Sasuke? Naruto chuckled. I remember it like it was yesterday. Me, Sai, Sakura, and Captain Yamato were standing down there, and you were up here. Sai gave a speech about not knowing us but wanting to help. Sakura just kept repeating under her breath, Sasuke-kun, 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 and you kept blabbering about not wanting to get your power the same way your brother did and about your own whims. With these words, Naruto deftly jumped down, ran into the center of the destroyed hall and turned sharply to his friends who remained above. Sasuke! The blonde shouted cheerfully. I'll bring you back to Konoha. And I said I wouldn't come back. Uchiha understood his friend's game and he also wanted to unwind. Jumping down, he pulled out a blade, which immediately collided with Naruto's kunai. From the side it seemed that they were ready to kill each other, but Hinata, looking at them, smiled. She knew that these two were just playing. Suddenly, a strange feeling came over her. It seemed that someone was watching them. As if some invisible creature was groping for those who disturbed his peace. Sasuke and Naruto apparently felt it too, because they stopped fighting. It's a terrible feeling, the blonde shuddered. A familiar feeling, the brunette said. Hinata jumped down and ran up to the guys, wanting to activate the Byakugan, when a girl in a purple sweater came out of the darkness of the tunnel. The red-haired girl in glasses carefully examined the new arrivals. Her scarlet eyes lingered on Sasuke. Karen, the brunette smiled. Well, hello. Without answering, the girl came up close to the guys, not taking her eyes off Uchiha and as if checking whether it was him or not. Finally, when she was sure of everything, she gave Sasuke a slap in the face. The blow was not very strong, but Uchiha sat up in surprise. Karen turned around and was about to go back, but Naruto, choking with laughter, held her by the shoulder. I suppose there was a reason? He asked the girl. It was. Let go. Karen jerked, breaking free from Uzumaki's hands. That freak almost killed me. A familiar song, the blonde chuckled. Karen looked at him appraisingly, and Naruto again felt that unpleasant sensation of being groped. However, he quickly understood why this feeling was occurring. You are a censor, right? Let's say, the red-haired girl answered, not taking her gaze off him. You work rough, the guy grinned again. Now you're looking at me, and at this time it seems to me that you're brazenly pawing me where you shouldn't. Really? Karen grinned. Well, okay, I can actually work much more subtly. I usually use this trick to intimidate enemies, but you, as I see, are not of that breed. Although you also look at me as if you want to drill a hole. It's just that you remind me a lot of someone, Naruto said, and the smile disappeared from his face. And who then? The girl narrowed her eyes. My mother. She had such beautiful red hair like yours, the blonde said quietly, and a single tear fell from his eye. However, he immediately brushed it away and became cheerful again. Karen, right? You're from Team Taka, right? Sasuke told me. I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore, the girl blurted out angrily. Sasuke is an arrogant idiot. Suigetsu is a crazy lunatic obsessed with swords. Yugo, well, I can't say anything about the latter, although I felt uneasy during his transformations. Well, Sasuke chuckled as he rose from the ground. Karen seems to have fallen in love with Yugo. He was cut off from finishing by a second slap that knocked him back down. Naruto burst out laughing. That's what he deserves, Karen, he squeezed out through his laughter. You and I are alike. We both know how to handle Uchihas. But I still don't know you, the girl suddenly remarked. Right, Naruto stopped laughing. Where are my manners? Okay, I'm Uzumaki Naruto. This is Hyuga, the future Uzumaki, Hinata. And you know Sasuke. Uzumaki? Karen snorted. I thought all Uzumaki had red hair. Well, I got my father's hair, the blonde smiled, but then it dawned on him. Wait. Are you an Uzumaki too? I didn't know my family, the girl exhaled. She was clearly uncomfortable with the topic. But Orochimaru said that my endurance is a gift from my blood. So, it's definitely Uzumaki, Naruto looked at Karen, as if admiring her. Darling, aren't you carried away? Hinata suddenly pulled him towards her. Karen is certainly a beauty, but... Are you jealous? The blonde turned to his girlfriend. Don't be afraid. Karen is like a sister to me. You will undoubtedly remain my favorite. Maybe that's enough talking? Sasuke rose from the ground again. We actually came here for a specific purpose. Meanwhile, Konoha was changing, turning from a peacekeeping force into a militarized one. Few noticed these changes, but those who did were scared. Akana's temporary rule was very similar to the time when Danzo was at the helm. The changes that were taking place were especially disliked by those who still did not believe in Naruto's guilt. A group of 3 former ANBU, Kakashi, Yamato, and Sai, were sitting in the same restaurant where Naruto's friends had feasted just a few days ago, celebrating his return. The village has changed a lot in these 5 days, Kakashi noted with a sigh. It was similar under our former master, Sai said. Danzo-san also sought to turn the leaf into a military apparatus. Do you think Naruto is really guilty of the assassination attempt on the 5th? Yamato asked, looking around furtively. Naruto? No, Hatake replied with a shrug. He would never do something like that. Although I must admit, the facts are against him. The fact that he left Konoha is especially suspicious, Sai added. But from what I know of him, he wouldn't destroy what he built. He always talked about his desire to make people acknowledge him. That's right, Kakashi agreed. Gaining recognition from the village has been Naruto's dream since childhood. Akin most likely either doesn't know the full picture of the incident or is skillfully manipulating the available facts. Speaking of him, Sai suddenly thought. I've definitely seen him somewhere before. But for some reason I can't remember where exactly. Seriously? Yamato looked intently at the former root fighter. Dig into your memory. It's important. I don't remember, Sai exhaled. The image is elusive. But I've definitely met him somewhere. We can only guess, Kakashi sighed. Hey, you 3, the owner's voice rang out. Curfew is about to start. We're closing. Yes, we're already leaving, Yamato answered regretfully. Yeah, Naruto whistled. I didn't realize old Oric had such a buffet here. Karen led them through several secret corridors to Orochimaru's personal library. Now all 4 of them stood in front of shelves filled with scrolls. There was everything from E-rank techniques to descriptions of experiments with forbidden techniques, for which even S-rank was too low. Naruto exchanged glances with Sasuke, noticing the same sparkle in his eyes. Without saying a word, the friends took out several weighty scrolls and vials of ink from their backpack. During their tour of countries, they learned to seal things in scrolls, and now, they were clearly eager to take the entire library with them. Hinata giggled, seeing Naruto create about 200 clones, and they began to draw seal symbols on a long scroll. Karen, seeing such a sight, also laughed. While the clones were packing all this stuff, the original, together with his brunette friend, found a scroll describing combined wind and fire techniques, and now the guys were greedily absorbing the knowledge. Since the library was quite extensive, even 200 clones needed about 2 days to seal everything. Now the team had their own warehouse of knowledge. In addition, during Naruto's walk along the long corridors of the bunker, he found Orochimaru's room, in which he found a gray-blue ring with the kanji ether drawn on it. After rummaging around in the closet a little, the blonde also found a characteristic cloak and hat. A cunning idea immediately came to the head of the restless ninja. Meanwhile, the team was already ready to leave, everyone was waiting only for Naruto. Where did that Uzuritanki disappear to? Sasuke asked, addressing no one in particular. Brother probably found another interesting toy, Karen grinned. For a couple of days, she and Naruto hadn't called each other anything other than brother and sister, which both Uzumaki really liked. Yeah. Or he found Kabuto's stash of instant ramen and is now devouring it, the Uchiha grinned. Or he got lost again while looking for the toilet, Karen chuckled. Sasuke laughed too. Or he. Quiet. Do you hear? Hinata suddenly shut them up. All 3 listened. From the darkness of the corridor came the painfully familiar ringing of bells. This is, Hinata whispered, trembling. Finally, a tall figure appeared in the corridor. A cloak with red clouds. A distinctive hat. Pale skin. And a familiar hissing voice. Well, hello, Sasuke-kun. Before they lost consciousness, all three heard the sound of the transformation technique being cancelled and Naruto's ringing laughter. A week after Akana was appointed as the interim Hokage, the elders came to the office. "Akin-san," Hamura began, "why haven't you sent out a pursuit of the Jinchuriki yet?" "Does that make any sense?" The temporary Hokage was surprised. "He's the village's weapon," Koharu said. "We can't let him work against us." Akin winced. These two sounded just like his former master. However, such reasoning had driven the latter to his grave, and Akadama had no intention of repeating his mistakes. "You don't understand," the former ambassador answered them irritably. "According to my information, he's already outside the borders of the Land of Fire. I can't send ANBU after him, in accordance with the recently concluded peace treaty. The village is not yet strong enough to provoke the wrath of others. And any ordinary team that encounters him will first want to know if he really poisoned the Hokage. Not to mention that he's strong enough to deal with anyone I send after him. As long as he doesn't stand in our way, I won't touch him." The elders glared at the temporary Hokage and left without even saying goodbye. Akin looked at the slammed door with irritation. He knew that the elders hated Naruto, but to take it to the point of absurdity. With a sigh, he took several blank scrolls from his desk and, having written a short order on each, went to the dovecot. Having sent out the messages, the temporary Hokage watched the birds go. "Sorry, Uzumaki Naruto, but I need a scapegoat, and you're just the thing. Nothing personal." Meanwhile, on the border between the countries of grass and waterfalls. "Well, I was just joking." The blonde screamed, running away from the enraged Sasuke and Karen at full speed. Hinata still hadn't come to after fainting and Naruto carried her in his arms. Fortunately, in Bija mode he barely felt her weight. "Come back, you little bastard!" Karen screamed throughout the forest. "You'll answer for my near heart attack." "Stop, use your Tonki!" Sasuke shouted, waving the Kusanagi blade. "Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you." "Stop, I said." "Yahoo!" Naruto jumped over the wide river with one leap. Inside him, the fox laughed loudly from such fun. "But you won't catch him." "Stop." The pursuers roared loudly and literally flew over the river, almost without touching the water. To their surprise, Naruto braked sharply on the other bank. "Well, have you had enough running?" The blonde looked slyly at his friends. "I'll chop you into pieces," Sasuke exhaled, collapsing onto the sand. Karen plopped down next to him. Naruto shook his head. It seemed he had overdone it after all. In just half an hour, the team had managed to run across half the country. "Naruto?" Hinata finally woke up. What happened? Was Orochimaru really there? Sasuke and Karen wheezed indignantly, but they no longer had the strength to speak. Naruto sighed in pain and began to set up camp. A few days later, the reconciled team finally reached Tobi's former hideout. However, as they approached the cave, Karen sensed the presence of strangers. "There are two ahead," she said, stopping. Very familiar chakra. "Hinata, could you take a look and see who's there?" "At 10 o'clock. "Yes." The Kunoichi answered, activating the Byakugan. There really are two of them. One is thin, with a pronounced water element of chakra. Something with its own circulation system is hanging behind his back. The second is muscular, with sticking out hair. Interesting. A non-standard chakra circulation system. "Suigetsu and Yugo," Karen answered confidently. "What a surprise. Naruto, would you do me a favor?" "All ears," the blonde said, noticing the sly expression on his sister's face. Sasuke grinned, and Hinata listened. "So, it's like this. Why are we here?" Yugo asked. "Are you still crazy about this idea about swords?" "Not only that," Suigetsu grinned his shark-like smile. "Our former boss's hideout should be nearby. And he probably has something interesting hidden there. I didn't want to look there at first, but since we're so close, why don't we drop in for a visit? And besides..." He didn't have time to finish. A shinobi in an Akatsuki cloak jumped out into the middle of the clearing. "Hey, kid, give me back my sword," Hashigate Kisame grinned with his shark-like smile. "You?" Suigetsu jumped up, taking out Samahata. You're dead. Even if so, so what? The shark man asked mockingly. Give me back my sword and I won't kill you, kid. Get away from me, ghost. Hozuki began to swing his sword in panic. At that moment, a familiar laugh was heard from the bushes and 3 more shinobi came out into the light of the fire. Yamato. The temporary Hokage ordered in a commanding voice. Your task will be to find Naruto Uzumaki and find out the whole truth about this matter. Several facts have come to light that indicate that we were hasty in blaming him for all the sins. Am I going alone? Asked the former ANBU member. Choose whoever you want, just not from ANBU, Akin generously offered. According to the agreement, I have no right to send ANBU fighters outside the Fire Nation. Your resignation was submitted just in time. Then I'll take Hitaki Kakashi and Sai, Yamato decided. Excellent, the former ambassador smiled. They are Naruto's friends and will surely persuade him to return to the village for a while. Set out today. According to my information, Uzumaki and his friends were seen on the border of the Land of Iron. Yes. Yamato answered, leaving the office. As soon as Akin was alone, he grinned. Excellent. All the mice, in one mousetrap. The main thing is not to let them go beyond the country's borders. Fortunately, fire has a rather large territory, which will soon become even larger. Team Yamato was heading towards the border with the Land of Hot Springs, which separated the Land of Fire and the Land of Iron. So Akin just didn't know the whole picture? Kakashi asked. He was walking ahead of everyone. It seems so, nodded Yamato, bringing up the rear of the group. In any case, he very sincerely asked me to return Naruto. Sai, you still don't remember where you met him? Hitaki turned to the brunette. Unfortunately, no, the former Kornya fighter rubbed his temples with displeasure. As soon as I try to remember, the image blurs. As if something is trying to stop me. Well, let's try it together, Yamato spoke up. Maybe you met him at Daimyo's? No, the brunette shook his head. I have never been to the Daimyo's court. Did you see him in Konoha? Kakashi suggested. Like, on a mission? Maybe, Sai scratched the back of his head. But I can't say for sure. Maybe he's also from Root? Yamato gave another version. It's possible, the brunette answered. But I can't remember. Something inside seems to be ordering me to forget this person. Maybe he put you under Genjutsu? Kakashi said. That's probably true, Sai muttered, but suddenly stopped abruptly. What's the matter? Asked Yamato, who had landed next to him. The brunette pointed behind him. We're being chased. 8 shinobi, very high level. Colleagues. Root? Hitaki was surprised. But what are they doing here? I don't know, but for some reason I don't want to find out, Sai answered anxiously. Faster. We need to get to the border with Hot Springs. They won't follow us. What if Akin sent them to help us? Asked Yamato. My sixth sense tells me that they are not here for that. Faster. After a 2-day march, Naruto and his team stopped at one of the hotels in the border town of the Hot Springs country. Damn, this place isn't called a resort paradise for nothing, Suigetsu lounged contentedly in his chair. The swordsman's expression reflected his extremely satisfied state. Don't flatter yourself, Sasuke, who was reading a scroll from Orochimaru's library before going to bed, cut him off coldly. It's only because Naruto's girlfriend turned out to be quite thrifty and generous enough. Until we find a normal job, you can stop dreaming about such things. We must definitely thank Hinata-san for such a luxurious room, Yugo remarked, having just returned from the bathhouse. By the way, why are we going to sleep here, and Naruto there, with our girls? Suigetsu suddenly asked. Who are your girls here? The enraged blonde immediately looked into the room, having heard Hozuki's last words. From behind his back, an equally angry Karen was looking out. Well. I just said it by the way, the sharp-toothed one hurried to justify himself. The Uzumaki looked at him intently and slammed the door. Phew, looks like we got away with it. Over the past few days, the swordsman had already gotten punched in the face several times for making inappropriate jokes about Karen. Previously, it amused him, But now the red-haired girl was joined by her brother, and they hit in unison and very painfully. So why are they sleeping there and we are here? Suigetsu asked again, glancing at the door. Because Hinata is Naruto's girlfriend, and Karen is his sister, Sasuke condescended to answer. And there were no other numbers. It's the season, after all. Interesting, Yugo drawled. Naruto and Karen have only just met, and they've already become such close friends. What's more, they act as if they've always been siblings, even though they probably haven't been. Family, Suigetsu chuckled. You wouldn't understand. Perhaps, Yugo nodded, settling down to sleep. The next day, the refreshed and rested team went to look for work. The initiator of the idea was, of course, the restless Naruto. Flashback. Cool. Sasuke said contentedly, plunging his head into the hot water. I haven't relaxed like this in a long time. Ah, I remember the time when I traveled with the perverted hermit, Naruto reminisced. Those were the days. The Erosanin would constantly spy on girls, and then I'd watch them chase him around town screaming. Speaking of girls, Suigetsu chuckled as he rose from the water. I've been dreaming of watching Karen naked for a long time. I saw it. Uzumaki showed him a fist, covered in Fox's chakra. If you try, I won't vouch for myself. You're a killjoy, the sharp-toothed one pouted and plopped back down, while Sasuke and Yugo laughed contentedly. Such a vacation will hit our pockets hard, the red-haired man suddenly spoke after a minute of silence. It's true, Naruto thought. He denied it for a long time, but Hinata personally paid all the expenses related to housing, and the guy considered himself obliged to her. We need to find a job. Go ahead, I'm fine as is, Suigetsu grinned contentedly. And in the eye? The blonde looked at him intently. What? I was just joking, Hozuki quickly justified himself, and when Naruto looked away, he muttered under his breath. You're evil, I'll leave you. All you know is how to hurt me, poor thing. The sight of Suigetsu pouting to the point of colic made everyone laugh. Naruto went underwater laughing, Yugo just laughed loudly, and Sasuke, shaking convulsively with laughter, looked at his teammate with his Sharingan, trying to memorize his facial expression down to the last detail. Okay, Joker, Uzumaki emerged from under the water. If you don't want to work with us, don't. Go wherever you want, we're not holding you back. But I was just joking, the sharp-toothed one pouted again. Your jokes are flat, baby shark, came a sarcastic remark from behind the fence separating the bathing areas. Okay, guys, Naruto grinned. Today we'll rest, tomorrow we'll all look for work together. End of flashback. An hour later, the team gathered at the agreed place. So what? Asked Naruto. What vacancies did you find? Unfortunately, I have nothing interesting to do, Sasuke sighed. Just little things, like weeding the gardens and walking the dogs. Me too, agreed Suigetsu, who wasn't really looking for anything. A rich merchant requires security to accompany him to the land of Earth. Yugo took an announcement out of his pocket. To IWA? No, I'm out, muttered Suigetsu. We'll have to trudge there for at least a month. For the first time in my life, I agree with you, Karen glanced at him. However, I have nothing special either. We need a squad of shinobi to clear the area of a gang of bandits, Hinata suggested. Now let's talk about this place in more detail, the swordsman became interested. The girl took an announcement out of her jacket. A squad of at least 3 shinobi is needed to attack a bandit fortress. The bandits are dangerous and well organized. Interested shinobi should contact this address, Hinata read. Just my thing, the sharp-toothed one grinned. Who's for it? I don't mind, Yugo boomed. Come on, Sasuke said. That'll do, Karen nodded. So, are we going to do it? Naruto asked again. Yes, the others answered in chorus. Then let's go. The weather turned bad and the 3 Konoha shinobi found themselves caught in a pouring rain. We have to lose them, Sai panicked, which was completely uncharacteristic of him. I know these teams. They are the best bounty hunters in the route. Are you sure? Yamato asked, breathing heavily. Absolutely. They are real beasts, said the brunette. An elite cleanup squad. so Akin decided to get rid of us this way? Kakashi huffed. But why did he need to get rid of us this way? Wouldn't it have been easier to kill us right in Konoha? Who the hell knows? He's probably pursuing his own goals. Are you so eager to die, sensei? Hell, if it weren't for the rain, I could have summoned a painted bird and we'd have gotten away from them. A good thought comes later, Hatake muttered through his mask. Naruto's team was moving towards the area where the bandits were holed up when they were caught in a downpour. Oh, shit, Naruto muttered. I hate the rain. It reminds me of Pain and Toby. It can't be helped, snorted Suigetsu, who benefited from the humid weather. We can't change nature. But are we able to protect ourselves from it? Asked Karen, who also didn't like the rain. I think so, but I have only one solution, which can be called quite extravagant. Naruto grinned and took a scroll out of his backpack, from which he in turn extracted 6 signature Akatsuki cloaks and hats. Where did you get them? Sasuke was surprised. Toby's shelter, the blonde grinned. What are you standing there for? Get dressed. The raincoats are good, waterproof. And the hats will be perfect instead of umbrellas. Damn, they're catching up, Sai gritted his teeth. Maybe we should accept the fight? Asked Yamato. 8 against 3? No thanks, I still want to live, answered Kakashi. There's still so much I haven't done in my life. Then let's pick up the pace. Sai shouted. We must reach the border before. The bandits were indeed well organized, but they had no chance against 6 shinobi. Karen led the team, and the rest of the team easily scattered the oncoming enemies. Rasengan. 2 opponents flew away from Naruto's hands, spinning wildly, knocking down 5 more. A little to the side, clones were gathering natural energy. Soft hand style. 64 heavenly strikes. Hinata's hands flashed wildly, and the 6 thugs fell to the ground, beaten. Chidori. The bandits who had attacked Sasuke were thrown back by a powerful electric discharge. Piston fist. Using the power of the cursed seal, Yugo turned his hand into a piston and deftly threw away everyone who came too close. You won't get it. Suigetsu openly mocked his opponents while Samahata in his hands collected its bloody harvest. The fight did not last even 10 minutes. Boredom, Hozuki stated, throwing the sword back behind his back. I won't argue, Naruto agreed. I alone would be too much here. Okay, time to go back, Sasuke said, but then Karen perked up. There are 3 shinobi moving this way from the other side of the border, she said. There are 8 more behind them. Judging by the speed, the 3 are running away from the 8. Hinata? I can see it already, the girl activated the dojutsu. Now. I see it. It's Sai, Yamato, and Kakashi. They're running away from a group of 8 ANBU. Now that's more interesting, Hozuki grinned. Let's go and beat up some Konoha shinobi too. First, let's monitor their actions, Naruto answered calmly. All 6 of them took off and a minute later were already near the clearing. On one side stood 3 friends, on the other 8 fighters from Root, who had not the most peaceful intentions. We're almost there, Kakashi huffed. The 3-day race had left him exhausted. The few pills he'd swallowed didn't seem to have any effect. It's no use, senpai, Yamato croaked. I have no more strength. They've cornered us like wild animals. Stop. 8 Root fighters jumped out onto the clearing where the 3 former ANBU had stopped. You are accused of treason. We surrender, Kakashi raised his hands. The order is to destroy the traitors on the spot, one of the ANBU men boomed from under his mask. All 8 fighters drew their swords. This is the end, Yamato thought. They'll just kill us. What a stupid death. But just when Akana's men were about to carry out the order given to them, 6 people appeared between them and their victims, wearing black cloaks with images of red clouds. The downpour intensified, but even behind the wall of rain, the trio of Konoha ninja saw 6 shinobi in the cloaks of the infamous organization, who saved them from certain death. Naruto recalled the clones and now looked at the enemies with yellow eyes with a rectangular pupil. Sasuke turned on his eternal Mangekyo at full power. Suigetsu, with the help of water, significantly increased his muscles. Yugo entered the first level of the seal. Hinata activated the Byakugan, and Karen used her psychological pressure of the sensor. The Roop fighters were momentarily embarrassed, and Naruto, as a commander, gave the order. Leave 1 or 2 alive, the rest are destroyed. Yes. The others simultaneously roared in response, imbued with the solemnity of the moment. And it began. Of course, the Roop fighters were tough nuts to crack, but they too fell under the onslaught of their opponents. With a wild roar, Yugo simply tore the closest opponent in half. Sasuke caught one of the Roop fighters in Tsukuyomi, and Naruto sent 2 enemies flying with his Cho Otama Rasengan. 4 opponents were eliminated in the first moments of the battle. The remaining ones managed to escape the attacks of Hinata and Suigetsu, regrouped and began a counterattack. Suetun! Water Dragon! One of the Cornobites shouted, having made the necessary seals, and the water around took the form of a giant dragon. Raitun! Lightning Discharge! Added the second. Now electric discharges ran across the surface of the water. However, the combined technique was interrupted by Rasen Shuriken, which Naruto launched. The 2 opponents barely managed to get out of the way, so as not to be chopped into pieces. Meanwhile, 2 more ANBU fighters attacked the girls, but were forced to retreat, as Hinata used a defensive version of the 64 Heavenly Strikes. But the Cornevians were not going to give up. Moreover, the 2 who Naruto hit with the Rasengan joined them. Now everyone had their own opponent, and in a fierce hand-to-hand fight, Karen, who was not a strong fighter, was eliminated from the game. Her opponent knocked her to the ground and almost ran her through with his katana, but Sasuke stepped in front of the Kusanagi strike in time, successfully setting his opponent on fire with a fireball. The slightly battered Cornevians retreated again to regroup. Sasuke, hit me with something fiery and powerful, Naruto said through his teeth. The clones were already working on his hand. The Uchiha nodded and opened his left eye wider. Suigetsu, Yugo, and Hinata prudently moved out of the way. Futon. Rasen Shuriken. Amaterasu. A wide whirlwind of black flame swept through the forest, leaving behind a giant clearing. 5 fighters caught in this hell were instantly ground up and burned. Another one was lucky, he was only slightly hit, but the damage was enough for the enemy to pass out from pain shock. Not bad, Naruto whistled. I didn't mean Amaterasu, of course, but I must say, it turned out cool. Well, that seems to be it, Sasuke sighed tiredly, a thin stream of blood flowing from his left eye. Damn, they turned out to be stronger than I expected. Exactly, the blonde nodded, rubbing his shoulder, caught by the enemy's katana. I didn't even think that those 2 would be able to get up after a giant Rasengan. Are you okay? Yugo approached. It's okay, Uzumaki grinned, Kurama already taking care of his wound. And how are you guys? Hinata is bringing Karen to her senses, and Suigetsu is lying nearby and pretending to be seriously wounded, the red-haired man shrugged. I see, Naruto chuckled, noticing the way Kakashi, Sai, and Yamato were looking at him from under the tree. Tell me, the whole company returned to the hotel, and now Naruto and his team were waiting for the 3 Konoha guys to tell them what the hell was going on. You first, Naruto, Kakashi looked at his student, narrowing his only visible eye suspiciously. What do you mean? The blonde was confused. After you left, you were accused of attempting to assassinate Tsunade, Sai answered calmly. Didn't Grandma come to her senses? Naruto was surprised. Tsunade is in a coma right now, Naruto, Yamato replied. But we'd really like to know what happened in the Hokage's office that night. You were there yourself, Senpai, Hinata spoke up. And you saw everything perfectly well. Kakashi and Sai looked at their comrade in surprise. However, Yamato himself seemed to be no less surprised. You didn't tell us about this, Hatake said indignantly. I was there? The former ANBU member asked again. It's strange, but why don't I remember anything then? Probably because he was hypnotized. Sasuke entered the room, interrogating the remaining ANBU. Those 2 didn't tell me anything, and when I started to extract information under Genjutsu, the seals worked. But I still found out something interesting. So what? Naruto asked. Allow me, Uchiha sat down right in front of Yamato. Tsukuyomi. A second later, the former ANBU member shuddered and came to his senses. I remembered. I remembered everything. Flashback. A day after the assassination attempt on Tsunade. At the time of the attack, you were at home. Sleeping. You don't remember anything you saw here. Forget that I told you, Akana's voice was zombifying. Do you understand me? Yes, Yamato answered weakly. The hypnotist clapped his hands. You called, Hokage-sama? The former ANBU asked. It seemed like he really didn't remember what had just happened. End of flashback. That's how it all happened, Yamato finished. It was the same with those cornobites, Sasuke summed up. The hypnotic effect was destroyed with the help of my Tsukuyumi. It seems that this Akin is also a master of hypnosis. Sasuke, can you use the same method on me? Sai suddenly asked. I'm sure I know something about him, but I can't remember. Okay, let's try, Uchiha shrugged. Tsukuyumi. A second later, Sai flinched in the same way. Yes. I remembered too, the brunette began. Akudama Akin. Registration number 009134. Root Fighter, codename Hypnotist. A specialist in the field of falsifying facts, able to convince anyone of his rightness. Can perfectly portray any emotion. An excellent medic and master of Jinjutsu. Able to completely hide his own chakra. He was close to Danzo and completely shared his ideas. So that's it, Kakashi said. That means this whole operation was well planned. Akin is a master of hypnosis, and even if we had survived the fight, he would have simply made us forget about it. By the way, Karen intervened. I studied the remaining tonic pills. They are coated with a special compound that completely changes their effect. It is usually used for sabotage. Instead of replenishing strength, the pills take it away. So that's why we're so tired, Yamato shook his head. Kakashi and I ate 3 each during the chase. Akin prepared a first-class mousetrap for us. However, he didn't take into account that the mice have guard dogs that tore his cats to pieces, Suigetsu chuckled. But what should we do now? Asked Yamato. We are banned from Konoha. Not necessarily, Naruto objected. I have an idea. Listen. A week later, the Hokage's office. Mission accomplished. Yamato, Sai, and Kakashi reported as they entered the office. You're back? Akin barely managed to suppress his surprise. Yes, Hataki stepped forward. We found Uzumaki Naruto. He confirmed that he was here at the time of the assassination attempt, but tried to save Tsunade with the help of the fox's chakra. Naruto will arrive here in 3 days, when his contract ends. Right now he is on the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Hot Springs. I see, the temporary Hokage drawled. And you didn't notice anything when you were going there or when you were returning? To be honest, we noticed, Yamato answered seriously. We witnessed how 6 people in Akatsuki cloaks attacked a double squad of our ANBU. We wanted to help them, but they were killed too quickly, and we were already out of shape. Akatsuki? Akin was worried. We need to inform the patrols. If Akatsuki has revived, it's a threat to the entire world. We completely agree with you, Hokage-sama, all 3 ninja bowed. You can go. Just don't tell anyone about the results of the mission yet. As soon as Naruto arrives, we'll check his words and then officially drop the charges. When Sai, Kakashi, and Yamato left, Akin grabbed his head. Damn it. My well-thought-out plans are failing because of ridiculous accidents. The thoughts did not please the temporary Hokage. Tsunade is still alive, although she should have been in the grave long ago from this poison. A second assassination attempt will not work, she is now guarded better than me. Not only did these 3 survive, but they also found Uzumaki. It's good that at least they did not guess that it was I who wanted to eliminate them. And Akatsuki showed up. What kind of idiot thought of reviving this damned organization? Did you call, Hokage-sama? 3 ANBU fighters entered the office. Yes. Follow Kakashi, Sai, and Yamato. I need to know what they'll be doing. But no contact. Yes. The ANBU officers bowed and left the office. I won't touch them until Uzumaki personally arrives here, Akin muttered under his breath, driving away an annoying fly that had flown out the open window. Everything went exactly as Naruto planned, Sai said quietly to his friends as his ink spot returned to the paper. Akin said he won't touch us until Uzumaki gets here in person. Shall we move on to the second stage? Yamato asked. Yes, Kakashi nodded. Naruto gave a list. Sakura, Shino, Kiba, Niji, Lee, Tenten, Gai, Ino, Shikamaru, Cheiji, Ebisu, Konohamaru, Udon, Moegi, Shizune. I'll take care of Sakura and Team Ebisu, Sai replied. I'll take the former teams 8 and 10, Yamato added. That means I'm in charge of Gai and Shizune's team, Kakashi summed up. Well then, let's get to work. Chapter 8. Masquerade By the next evening, the 3 ANBU were once again gathered in the Hokage's office. What did you manage to find out? Akin asked, nervously playing with his fingers. Hatake Kakashi behaved as usual, answered the first ANBU member, whose face was covered by a fox mask. In the morning, he argued with Might Guy again, raising half of Konoha's ears. In the afternoon, he visited Tsunade-sama. The rest of the time he spent with his books. Speaking of Tsunade, the temporary Hokage showed concern on his face. How is she? Still in a coma, the second ANBU in the hawk mask replied. My target was Sai. He spent most of his time with Haruno Sakura, which is not surprising considering their friendly relationship. That evening, he had dinner at Ichiraku, with Sarutobi Konohamaru. Did they discuss anything? Akin asked. Like about Uzumaki? No, we just exchanged a few words. I see, the former ambassador thought. What else? My task was to follow Yamato, a female voice was heard from behind the cat mask. Nothing suspicious was found. Today, he spent half the day playing shogi with Shikamaru Nara and Aburame Shino. Then he sat in the bar until closing time, not talking to anyone. So there's nothing suspicious? Akin asked again. It's nothing, Hokage-sama, all three answered in unison. I see, the ambassador lowered his head again. You are free to go. Yes. All three immediately left the office. Were these three managed to fool my fighters, Akudama thought. Or they really aren't planning anything. Maybe I'm paranoid? Why does it seem like even my ANBU are against me? Stupid idea, Yujiro Tonki, Sasuke shook his head. Why is she stupid? Naruto was indignant. It's all logical. If the plan fails and we have to leave the village, then we'll definitely become apostates, right? Well, let's say, Uchiha nodded. Do you remember who the old organization consisted of? The blonde asked with triumph in his voice. It's still stupid. Go to hell. Naruto turned away from his friend. Both of them were sitting on the Hokage mountain wearing masks and ANBU uniforms. The friends were alone. Karen, Suigetsu, and Yugo were not in the village, and Hinata had gone to recruit Kurenai and Irika. No, well tell me, why Akatsuki? Sasuke started playing the hurdy-gurdy again. Don't you have any other ideas? Why not? Well, for example. The party of free and cunning exiles, wow. Yeah, short for Psyche. The brunette grinned. Well, come up with something of your own, genius, suggested the offended blonde. Okay, Akatsuki, so Akatsuki, I won't argue. Sasuke immediately backed down, since, as luck would have it, nothing else came into his head except Team of the Great and Mighty Uchiha Sasuke. Moreover, we already have the equipment, Naruto grinned, but immediately became serious. Besides, our goals are similar. Do you want to take over the world? Uchiha was surprised. I want to save it, Naruto corrected. Pain's dream was peace between countries, he just didn't have the right methods. And anyway, all this is only if my plan doesn't work, and it definitely should. It will work out, Sasuke, I'm telling you. Sasuke? Are you listening to me? Yes, of course, the brunette nodded, with difficulty distracting himself from his thoughts. He had a very bad feeling about this. The next day, the temporary Hokage received bad news for him. Tsunade's condition began to improve rapidly. Akin became nervous. Uzumaki was supposed to appear in the village tomorrow, and then, at the most inopportune moment, the real Hokage began to come to her senses. Now the former root fighter was going through his options, coming up with a new plan. What should I do? He thought. The main plan was carefully thought out, but because of these absurd accidents, everything went to hell. The former master was wrong when he said that everything could be predicted. Mortally wrong. But, on the other hand, I'm dealing with the most unpredictable ninja, damn him. And the elders have started nagging me again. Of course, I can retreat into the shadows, blaming all the blame on these old men, but then it's unknown how long a new attempt will take. While the other countries have not recovered from the military actions, it would be easy to set them at odds, and then subjugate them. The thoughts were interrupted by a knock on the office door. What I remembered came up, Akin thought irritably. Those two old fools showed up again. But to his great surprise, it was not the elders who entered the office, but Hayashi Hyuga. Greetings, Hokage-sama. I love you too, Akudama answered in a surprised tone. What brings the head of the Hyuga clan to me? You see, the thing is that my men have detected traces of my wayward daughter Hinata's chakra in Konoha. And since she is in the village, it means that we must find her, for one personal clan matter. I hope you won't mind if my fighters comb the village. Hinata is here? Akin was surprised again. But then Uzumaki should be in Konoha too. Yes, traces of this criminal's chakra were also noticed, as well as his friend, Uchiha Sasuke, Hayashi answered. So that's how it is, the temporary Hokage grinned. Hayashi-san, it seems you helped me unravel another conspiracy. As I was informed today, Tsunadeheim's condition is starting to improve. Uzumaki has probably returned to finish what he started. It's a clever idea, because the team that was sent to search for him reported that he would return to Konoha only tomorrow. It seems they are in cahoots with Uzumaki. Of course, I won't object if you comb the village. If you bring Uzumaki and Uchiha here, then I will turn a blind eye to the fact that your daughter attacked the elders and entrust her further fate to you, as it should be. I'm glad you're helping our clan maintain its authority, Hokage-sama. Hayashi bowed his head. We'll find them. With these words, the head of the Hyuga clan left the office. It seems to be helping, Shizen exclaimed. The fox's chakra is neutralizing the residual effects of the poison. That means we're on the right track, Naruto said tiredly. The main thing is not to overdo it. After all, Granny Tsunade is not a Jinchuriki and won't be able to withstand too high a concentration of such a sharp chakra. Where did you suddenly get medical knowledge, Naruto? Asked the fifth's assistant. You don't have to call me by my name, the blonde hissed at her, putting his mask back on. Sorry, Fox, Shizen corrected herself. Well, where did it come from? You've never been interested in it. There was no point, Naruto chuckled. Kurama always restored me. But knowing how to heal others is always useful, isn't it? So I read a few scrolls with medical techniques that I found in Orochimaru's library. Okay, I have to go, or someone will suspect something. Of course, NAR. Fox. A short laugh came from behind the mask and Naruto disappeared in a puff of smoke. I have a bad feeling about this, Dobe, Sasuke said worriedly when the three of them met again. It feels like we've already been found out. There were Hyuga clan fighters wandering around the village all day today. Hinata frowned, but no one saw it under her mask. And they weren't just wandering around, it was as if they were looking for someone. Then it's time, Naruto sighed. And I was hoping that we'd have time to bring Granny to her senses before exposing this villain. Okay, let's notify everyone we managed to recruit and head to the Sakana. It's time to end the masquerade. So these three? Akin chuckled. Hayashi and three other fighters from the Hyuga clan stood next to him. Yes. The three ANBU wearing the fox, hawk, and cat masks are the ones we're looking for. I would never have thought so, the former ambassador grinned. Okay, they should come to me themselves soon to report. Let's pretend we don't suspect anything. As soon as they lose their vigilance, we'll take them. It's time to end the masquerade. Yamato, Kakashi, and Sai will warn the others. Naruto explained his plan to Taka's former team. They will be nearby. Ideally, we won't need them or you. But the Hyuga clan has messed up our plans, so we'll act now. If things get tough, I'll give the signal. In that case, we retreat and accept the fight. What if there are too many opponents? Yugo asked. In that case, we'll have to get away from here, the blonde answered reluctantly. But it probably won't come to that. That depends on how you put it, Karen noted, probing the Hokage's residence. There are about 36 fighters there, more than half of whom have a very strange system of chakra circulation in their eyes. Byakugan, Hinata gasped. It looks like father has finally found us and is preparing an ambush. Yes? Naruto frowned. Damn, then we'll have to change the plan a bit. The Hyuga spotted us too early. So we'll play according to their plan. What are you planning, brother? Karen asked with interest. Here's the thing. Listen. They've been gone for a long time, Akin drawled. Maybe it was in vain that you brought so many of your people here? Surely your daughter has already warned the accomplices. That's impossible, Hayashi snapped. These fighters are the pride of the clan. They are masters of disguise. Konoha's best sensors can't spot them, and my daughter isn't even one of them. Hayashi-sama, one of the Hyuga looked through the door under the chameleon technique. All three are moving here. Great, let them come inside, the clan leader chuckled, casting the same technique on himself. A few minutes later, 3 ANBU entered the office. A fox, a hawk, and a cat. What are the results of the surveillance? Akin asked point blank. Outwardly, nothing suspicious, all three answered in unison. But we managed to find out who was really behind the assassination attempt on Tsunade-sama. Really? The Hokage exclaimed surprisedly. And who? A man named Akudama Akin, said the fox, removing his mask. That is, you. Chapter 9. Farewell fireworks That is, you, Naruto said, removing his mask. What unheard of impudence, Akin grinned. You poisoned Tsunade-hime yourself, and you put all the blame on me. And now you've come to take the Hokage's place. Okay, Uchiha Sasuke and Hinata Hyuga, take off your masks, I know that you're helping your friend. How insightful, a cold voice said, and the hawk mask was removed, revealing Sasuke's face. On top of that, he's incredibly deceitful. If anyone wants to shift their guilt onto others, it's you, Akin. Hinata, in turn, took off her mask. Do you have any evidence? The temporary Hokage grinned, tilting his head to the side. It was a sign. Although, your forgeries won't help you anymore. Byakugan. Hayashi roared, dispelling the chameleon technique and personally rushing at the three who had come. A few blows knocked the trio to the floor. That's it, I've covered most of their tenketsu. They're no longer dangerous. Are you sure, Hayashi? Naruto croaked before disappearing in a puff of smoke, along with Hinata and Sasuke. What? Akin jumped up. Shadow clones? At that moment, the window was shattered by a kunai with a smoke bomb attached to a ring, which immediately went off. Greenish gas filled the room for a second. When it cleared, a paralyzed Hayashi was lying on the floor, and a heavy log was lying in the overturned Hokage chair. Karen, can you find him? Naruto asked, standing next to his sister on a nearby rooftop. I'm trying, but he could be anywhere, the girl replied. Besides, he's so good at hiding his chakra that it's very hard to spot him, unlike the 50 ANBU coming here. What? The blonde's jaw dropped. How many ANBU? About 50, repeated Karen. Plus, from the other side, there are another 30 of these wide-eyed ones approaching. Damn it. Naruto muttered through his teeth. He would have added a few stronger expressions, but he never swore in front of girls. Akin raised too many forces against us. We simply can't handle that amount. Besides, I don't want to fight Konoha Shinobi. So, we retreat? Yeah, let's get going and quickly, the guy nodded. I hope the guys are finished already. Everything is ready, Kakashi landed on the roof. The seals are in place and judging by the noise, we'll need them. That's right, Sensei, Naruto replied. Grab everyone and get out of the village. Head to Wave Country. I'll hold them off. What about Shizune and Tsunade-sama? Hataki asked. I'll take them. Go. I must admit, the kid is not as stupid as before. Akin shook his head, appearing after the replacement technique at one of the training grounds. 50 fighters of the former route were already waiting for him there, from which the temporary Hokage formed his personal guard. Everyone, attention here. The Hokage's residence has been attacked. The attackers are Uzumaki Naruto and his accomplices. The task is to neutralize. Do not kill the Jinchuriki, he is needed alive, the rest can be spared. Carry out. Yes. All the Cornobites bowed and jumped up. Akin himself headed to the Hyuga quarter to provide support to his people. What's going on? Guy asked as Kakashi and Karen appeared next to the group. Akin has thrown too many people at us. Naruto will hold them off, giving us time to retreat, the copy ninja said. Since you have not yet been noticed in the riots, you have every right to abandon this venture, added the blonde who appeared next to them. I miscalculated, but you do not have to leave and become apostates with me. We're with you, Naruto-san. Konohamaru and his team jumped forward. The rest of the group, which included former teams 7 through 10, plus Sai and Yamato, nodded in agreement. Of the entire list, the ones who didn't follow Naruto were Irika, who had been badly battered in the last war, Kurenai, who had a child, and Ebisu, who didn't think this was a good idea. Head for the land of waves. I'll catch up with you soon, Naruto smiled before disappearing in a puff of smoke again. More than 150 Konoha fighters fought 500 copies of the most unpredictable ninja. The main problem for the Konoha fighters was that each clone that dispersed would definitely do something dirty. Some clones, upon receiving damage, turned into explosive seals that immediately scattered the attackers with a blast wave. Others scattered into anti-personnel hedgehogs. From time to time, one or another part of the square where the battle was taking place was filled with thick smoke from smoke bombs, into which the clones from the third group turned. Several more copies of Naruto appeared from time to time on neighboring roofs and showered the fighters with Senbon, kunai, and shuriken, not caring who got more. The blonde himself watched from the sidelines as the chaos unfolded in the square. The idea to mix replacement and shadow cloning techniques was born spontaneously, but, of course, it turned out to be effective. The clone's goal was to wear down the enemy and buy time for the retreating allies. Okay, enough admiring, time to pick up Shizune and Granny Tsunade, Naruto said to himself before disappearing once again. Naruto's gang, led by Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi, moved at high speed towards the land of waves. I wonder why brother Naruto chose the wave country? Konohamaru asked, not addressing anyone in particular. Probably because there is no hidden village in this country, and shinobi are quite rare there, answered Niji, who had heard about this small island state. It's amazing to see Naruto planning his moves ahead, Kiba chuckled. Brother isn't as stupid as he usually shows, Karen snapped. He's a pretty good strategist. Well, he wasn't always like this, Cheiji said, his weight making the branches crack. He used to rush at the enemy without thinking. The war changed him. Like all of us, Hinata interjected. The group fell silent again, focusing on the road. Shizune was sitting next to her mistress when Naruto flew in through the open window. Naruto? What are you doing here? No time. Akin took charge. It's time to get out of here, we can't stay in Konoha. But what about Tsunade-sama? Shizune glanced at the unconscious woman. We'll have to seal it for now, Naruto replied, taking out a scroll and some ink. I know it seems blasphemous, but it's the only way. Okay, Shizune nodded, watching with excitement as the blonde ninja rolled out the scroll and wrote the seal symbols on it. Sealing. Naruto shouted, finishing the preparations, and Tsunade disappeared. The blonde immediately rolled the scroll back up. Now let's run. He grabbed Shizune's hand and moved with her to the Hokage mountain. From here, the fight that was still raging below was clearly visible. To complete the image, I only need a fringe covering my left eye, Naruto grinned, bringing 2 fingers to his face. What did he say there? Ah. I remember. Art is an explosion. Cats. Dozens of explosive tags went off all over Konoha, waking up the villagers and causing panic. Naruto dispelled the remaining clones, adding to the troubles of Root and the Hyuga. Then he disappeared again, taking with him a confused Shizune. Akin was furious. Not only had 150 of his men managed to miss Uzumaki, but they hadn't even noticed that explosive tags had been placed at several strategic points in Konoha, leaving the village defenseless and eliminating the possibility of sending a pursuit. The only good thing for now was that there were no casualties. However, the temporary Hokage was sure to have a headache. I report, an ANBU fighter entered the office. During the sabotage, 5 military warehouses were destroyed, the western gate was destroyed, and the city wall was breached in 6 places. In the battle with the Uzumaki clones, 106 people were lightly wounded, another 30 had moderate injuries, and the rest were simply exhausted. During the investigation, it was discovered that several shinobi were missing. There were no casualties among the civilian population. Who's missing? Akin asked wearily. Former teams 8, 9, and 10, as well as teams Kakashi and Ebisu. In full force? The former ambassador's eyes widened. Except for Ebisu and Yuhi Kurinai, the ANBU member corrected himself. There is also information that the 5th Hokage and her assistant Shizune have disappeared from the hospital. So that's how it is, Akin drawled. His lips stretched into an unpleasant smile. I see, you can go. Yes. ANBU left the office. So that's how you did it, Uzumaki Naruto, Akudama chuckled to himself. I think I can turn this to my advantage. Literally the next day, an announcement was made to the residents of Konoha. Uzumaki Naruto was accused of the nighttime riots, who attacked Konoha with the aim of again attempting to assassinate the Hokage and her temporary deputy. His friends, who were declared traitors, helped him get into the village and commit sabotage. Almost all of them were given the status of A-rank criminals. Except for Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata, they were awarded S-rank. Akudama Akin, with the support of the daimyo and the Council of Elders, was finally appointed the 6th Hokage. Half a year passed. Akin, busy rebuilding the village after Naruto's farewell fireworks, was forced to put his plans of conquest on hold for a while, especially since some of his spies were mysteriously killed. Nothing was heard about the blonde ninja and his company until one day, on the border between the countries of fire and rain, people dressed in black cloaks with images of red clouds were spotted. Supplement. New Akatsuki roster Author's note, this isn't really a chapter. I just thought it would be useful for readers to know who the new organization is and what teams it's divided into. Also, I took the idea of rings into consideration and figured out how to play around with it. All teams except Uzumaki have a ring on their group leader. Teams, specialization, /rings, kanji, meaning, color. Team Uzumaki, sensors. 1. Uzumaki Naruto /Rei, 0, color purple-gray. 2. Uzumaki Karen /Sarayu, Azure Dragon, color blue-green. 3. Uzumaki, Hyuga, Hinata /Byako, White Tiger, color white. Team Taka, Kekiai Genkai. 4. Uchiha Sasuke /Suzaku, Cinnabar-colored bird, color red. 5. Hozuki Suigetsu. 6. Yugo. Team Gai, Taijutsu. 7. Mado Gai /Genbu, black turtle, color green. 8. Rock Lee. 9. 1010. Team Konohamaru, assault team. 10. Sarutobi Konohamaru /Kuken, ether, color gray-blue. 11. Udon. 12. Moegi. Intelligence team, reconnaissance. 13. Hyuga Niji /Nanju, Southern Star, color yellow. 14. Inazuka Kiba. 15. Aburame Shino. XANBU, Ninjutsu, team. 16. Hataki Kakashi /Hokuto, North Star, color dark green. 17. Yamato. 18. Sai. Team Ino Shikacho, tactics. 19. Narashikamaru /Santai, 3rd level color orange. 20. Yamanaka Ino. 21. Akimichi Choji. Team of doctors, medical technicians. 22. Haruno Sakura /Gyakunyo, virgin or ball, color purple. 23. Senju Tsunade. 24. Kato Shizune. Chapter 10. New Akatsuki. Three people wearing the cloaks of the infamous organization were walking along the road from the border between rain and fire. All three figures were female, and hair was sticking out from under their hats. Brown for the girl on the left, pink for the one in the center, and light for the woman walking on the right. The pink-haired one had a purple ring on her left thumb that once belonged to Akasuna no Sasori, and later Tobi. Naruto found these rings by accident. After a trip to the Land of Waves, where the team lay low for a couple of months, Sasuke suggested visiting the old Akatsuki hideout in the Land of Rain. Having made a huge detour to avoid the Land of Fire, Naruto's team reached Amagakure a month later. Team Taka remembered this place, although they had only been here once, during the failed sealing of the 8 Tails. There was nothing interesting in the cave except a set of 9 rings, in addition to Orochimaru's ring. It is unknown how exactly they ended up here, but Naruto, for fun, distributed them to the group leaders. However, as it turned out later, the rings were not needed for beauty. It was with their help that the old Akatsuki members created their own projections during sealing. In addition, the owners of the rings could combine their chakra together to perform some energy-intensive jutsu. Suigetsu even suggested trying to perform Edo Tensei. But after getting a slap on the head, he immediately agreed that it was a bad idea, and the Konan ring, which he had initially put on his finger, was mercilessly taken away and given to Hinata. The organization's source of finances were high-paying contracts received through Naruto's agent network. When he managed to acquire so many spies in almost all countries remained a mystery even to members of his own team. The old shelter was converted for living and became the main base of New Akatsuki. Moreover, no one objected, the Rain Village was still weak, and Naruto's organization literally cleared the country of bandits in a couple of weeks. Orochimaru's library was studied from cover to cover, and after several months of training, all 24 ninja honed their skills to a simply ideal level. Now New Akatsuki was a serious force to be reckoned with. More precisely, it would be worth it if anyone knew about them, except for the population of the Rain Country. Up until this point, all contracts had been carried out by Team Uzumaki, Naruto, Karen, and Hinata, without revealing their affiliation with the organization. However, now that Akin was stirring again, Naruto decided that there was no point in hiding any longer and it was time to make himself known. An 8 team set out to do the job. Uzumaki learned that an unknown disease was raging in the borderlands of the Land of Waterfalls, and now a medical team, which included Sakura, Tsunade, and Shizune, was heading to Taki no Kuni. Naruto wanted to show the noble goals of his organization. The day began as usual and did not seem to threaten the 6th Hokage with any troubles. But when, during lunch, the cup of tea cracked in Akudama Akana's hand, he thought about it. He did not believe in omens, but the most disgusting thing was that they often turned out to be true. And so it was today, before the 6th had time to finish his lunch, the out-of-breath cipher clerk burst into the office. "H. Hokage-sama," he breathed out. "Urgent message. 3 people in Akatsuki cloaks have been spotted on the border with the Rain Country." Akin choked. "Really again?" "They are advancing along our borders, towards Taki no Kuni," the shinobi's report continued. "Presumably, one of them is the apostate Haruno Sakura. The identity of the rest has not yet been determined, but according to scouts, they resemble Senju Tsunade and her assistant Shizune." "I see," nodded Akin. "Tell the wolf that I want to see him." As soon as the cryptographer left the office, 6th grabbed his head. So old Tsunade managed to pull through after all, he said to himself. "Akatsuki, huh? Damn that Uzumaki, he's sticking his nose in where he's not wanted." There was a knock on the door and an ANBU wearing a wolf mask entered the office. "Did you call, Hokage-sama?" A booming bass voice came from behind the mask. "Yes. Take 2, or no. 3 of the best cleanup teams and head to the northwestern border. 3 representatives of the Akatsuki organization have been spotted there. Your task is to kill all representatives of this damned organization." "Akatsuki?" Wolf boomed in surprise. "Okay, I'll take cleanup teams 6, 14, and 22. Anyone, just don't fail the mission, the Hokage literally hissed. Move out immediately. Yes. The ANBU officer answered and walked out the door. At first, they didn't want to let the three kunoichi into the hospital of the border town of the Land of Waterfalls. Everyone was confused by the signature Akatsuki cloaks. After all, the old organization was quite unpopular. However, upon learning that the head of new Akatsuki was Uzumaki Naruto, as well as the purpose for which the three first-class doctors came here, the local doctors abruptly changed their minds. What an interesting case. Sakura examined the patients lying in a separate room. Tsunade-heim, what do you think? It looks like the laboratory virus SD13, Tsunade said in an expert tone. The best geneticists of Root worked on the project. Even Orochimaru had a hand in this project. And why was it developed? Shizun asked. A stupid question. This virus causes the body's defense systems to fade. In addition, it begins a slow but inevitable destruction of the shinobi's chakra circulation system. The perfect biological weapon. Fortunately for us, the strain was never perfected. But that's not a fact, Sakura butted in. It's entirely possible that Root managed to make a normal version. I don't argue, Tsunade nodded. However, this virus in any form has one weak spot. It is biologically incapable of reproducing. And that means we need to find and neutralize the source, Haruno realized. And the virus will stop acting, Tsunade nodded, continuing her examination. And we will be able to remove the damaged cells, right? Okay, enough chatter, let's get to work. Guys, a hologram of the leader of New Akatsuki appeared next to the Inoshikache team, resting after hunting bandits who had wandered into the Land of Rain. I have a new task for you. Damn it, Naruto, give us a rest, the lazy genius muttered. We've already been chasing these bandits for 3 days. I would be glad, but in Taki no Kuni, your team's help is needed. Wasn't Sakura's team there? Ino was surprised. Yes, they are currently busy with their original task. As they have found out, the cause of the diseases is a virus developed in corn. And then Root made his mark, muttered Cheiji, finishing off his third pack of chips. Exactly. Your task will be to find the source of this virus and, with the help of a team of doctors, neutralize it. Damn, it's so far to the Land of Waterfalls, Shikamaru said lazily. Working at this pace is quite problematic. Shika. I'm not a kind Hokage, I can give you a slap on the back of the head, Naruto threatened. Besides, you won't have to walk to Taki no Kuni. Was it for nothing that I gave you kunai kid? Sakura, by the way, immediately remembered them. Ino understood him immediately. Taking a 3-petaled kunai with a seal on the handle from her pouch, the girl stuck it into the ground, and the real Naruto appeared in place of the disappeared hologram. Get your ass up, Nara, before I do it for you, the blonde said. I'm getting up, Shika muttered, rising to his feet and standing next to Ino and Cheiji. Tell me, where do you get all this energy from? I'm exploiting Kurama, the blonde leader grinned. Ready? Let's go. Meanwhile, Akin listened to a report from the scientists working on the SD13 project. Unfortunately, the field tests in the town on the border with Waterfall were unsuccessful, said the head of the group. We were prevented from fully observing the effect of the new strain SD13 by 3 ninjas who destroyed the spreader of the infection. What other 3 ninjas? Sixth asked, frowning. They were dressed in a very specific way. Black cloaks with red clouds and wide-brimmed hats with bells and white ribbons. I see, Akin answered in a very calm voice. You may go. As soon as the scientists left his office, Akin angrily threw his own chair out the window. Akatsuki again, he held. Oh, never mind. Taking out several clean scrolls and ink, the Hokage began writing at a wild speed. Saboteurs located in different parts of the world will receive assignments today. Chapter 11. Working days Team Uzumaki. Country of Wind. Naruto, Hinata, and Karen were walking through a sandstorm towards Suna. Gaara needed professional help, and the name Uzumaki was synonymous with that. Still, whatever you say, it's good to have the wind element, Karen grinned. The sandstorm couldn't break through the powerful air shield Naruto had put up. And all three of them walked calmly through the desert. Well, the ground isn't bad either, the blonde added with a laugh. Indeed, the shield protected them from the sand around them. And the sand under their feet was compacted, controlled by Karen. Naruto turned to Hinata. And of course, water is great too. 3 months ago, when new Akatsuki began their training, Naruto got hold of several chakra sheets and found out what elements were typical for the members of his team. Karen's main element was earth, and her secondary element was fire. Hinata had water and, slightly worse, wind. Naruto's second element was lightning, like his father. However, the presence of Kurama and the contract with the toads gave him the ability to use fire and water, though not as well as wind and lightning. Thus, the team of 3 Uzumaki was universal in the field of elemental techniques. Yes, exactly 3. Despite their young age, Naruto and Hinata decided not to delay the wedding and got married in the Land of Waves. Another reason why they had to stay there for a couple of months. The village of Pesca is visible on the horizon, reported Hinata, who was the eyes of the team. Great, let's pick up the pace, Naruto grinned. Team Guy. Country of rice fields. May the power of youth be with us, the green beast shouted, scattering the bandits. Leaf whirlwind. Guy yelled, knocking out another opponent. Learn, Lee. I can do better. Dawn whirlwind dash. His student shouted back. 2 thugs flew to the side from his blows. You are learning, Guy-sensei. Ah, so that's how it is. Well then. The great lightning of the leaf. Mado sent 3 more bandits to sleep with a mighty kick. Moreover, the kick was so fast that it seemed like lightning flashed. Did you see it? Great dawn lightning. Lee roared and flashed around the group of 6 opponents like living lightning. The next second, they fell with huge bumps on their heads, and a bang from breaking the sound barrier resounded in the air. That's not fair, Lee. Guy howled, slapping. We agreed, no ninjutsu. Ninjutsu? The noble green beast was surprised. Guy-sensei, I don't know how to use ninjutsu. But no one forbade me from using chakra to strengthen my blow. Oh, is that so? There were no more opponents standing on their feet around them, so the heated sensei and student rushed at each other. Idiots, Ten sighed, watching the carnage from a nearby tree. No problem, let them let off some steam, Naruto's hologram sitting next to the girl grinned. Once they're done, head to the city. Get your reward and visit the Fuma clan. There's another task for you there. I see, the gunsmith jumped down from the tree. XANBU team. At the entrance to Cloud Village. Yo, guys, how far are you going? Killer Bee landed on the ground in front of Kakashi, Yamato, and Sai with his swords drawn. Akatsuki creatures won't get through. I bet. Watch your language, B. Naruto's hologram appeared in front of the 3 former ANBU. By the way, we have an order from the Raikage. Naruto? Is that you? The dark-skinned Jinchuriki sheathed his blades. Oh, I know you. Kakashi, Yamato and Sai, the brunette introduced himself, smiling. The smile was no longer the same cat-like one, but warmer. The former Cornevets used it for any reason. Why are you guys dressed up like that? B walked around the team, examining the cloaks. What are we doing, a masquerade? How come I don't know? All 3 of them, plus the hologram, sighed at the same time. Kakashi, Yamato, Sai, go ahead. I'll stay behind and outline the situation to our friend, said the translucent Naruto. Yes. All 3 saluted as usual and went on, leaving Naruto's hologram and the puzzled Jinchuriki alone. Team Konohamaru. Country of Waves. Rasengan. 3 clones shouted at once. The giant snake that had crawled out of the water onto the shore flew back. And where do such beasts come from? Moegi sighed. Science doesn't know for sure, Udon recited in a smart tone. However, during this period they begin laying eggs. Later, their offspring greatly annoy the locals, so they hire shinobi to protect themselves from this misfortune. It cannot be killed, such animals are quite rare. If it fails to lay eggs here, it will swim to the other side of the island.